Okay, well, we were speaking earlier about grass cloth having come back into the market about 6 or 7 years ago, and it's just expanded from there. I mean, we have at least 50 wallpaper books that are just grass cloth in our store. One thing we always do try to tell people if they're considering grass cloth is, of course, since it's a natural fiber, it does not have any protection against moisture. You don't want to put it in a heavily trafficked area for a bathroom or something like that. A powder room is perfectly fine as a rule. You don't want to put it, of course, in a kitchen by a sink, because if water splashes on it, it can spot it very easily. Another thing that you have to be aware of with grass cloth is what they call a panel effect. Since they're natural fibers, there's no way that you can match one panel to the panel next to it. You're always going to have some sort of panel effect. But that's just a characteristic of grass cloth. A lot of people like that look because it's more handcrafted looking. It's more personal than just having strips of wallpaper that match perfectly. It's a little more unique. If you don't like that aspect of grass cloth, you probably shouldn't be using it. We just got a brand new book from a company called Tivo Graphic Resource, and it is definitely a graphic book. They've got some really bold chevron patterns. This one I think is going to do very well because I've noticed in about the last 6 months or so we've been having more requests for chevrons, and there haven't been that many out there. But this is a good one. It has about 10 different colors, everything from really bold, all the colors that people are looking for now. They've got these really bold florals, just dark backgrounds, more metallics. I know you can't feel this, of course, since we're doing this visually, but this paper is what they call one of the woven grounds. It has a definite texture to it. It feels like paper. And a lot of people are liking that. That's what they're looking for. They want something that doesn't have a smooth factory finish, and these are really good for that. The whole book is not like that, but some things are. You've also got things that are very much like a pen and ink drawing. Again, things that are more graphic, things that just sort of pop out on the wall. That's a look. Any sort of fretwork design, lattice work design. Some people call it Moroccan. There are all sorts of variations on this. Practically every company that's manufacturing wallpaper these days has versions of this. It's a look that's not going to go away, I don't think. It's just a geometric look that is pretty timeless. The Peacock Feathers. This is a real sample of it. That's just, of course, a photo. It comes in sheets that are approximately 4 feet wide by approximately 10 feet tall, and one panel sells for about $8,000. It's the sort of thing that probably you would see in a harem in Saudi Arabia or a high roller suite in Las Vegas or something like that, but I don't think your average or even above average residential customer is going to have anything to do with it. It's just not very practical. It's beautiful, but practical, no. The same company also makes one that is a little better, which is made out of capiz shell. You can either get it just as a sheet like that, or you can get it actually in a woven grass cloth sort of look. And they've also got another one that's made out of recycled newspapers, which is about as ecological as you can get. If you want to recycle your old newspapers, you just pulp it all up, strip it, sand it, sew it together, and you've got a wallpaper. They also have sequins. You can probably sort of catch the light on that. That's again, these are the more exotic things, and then this is just pure glass beads with no pattern to it. And these are the sort of things that you definitely would not want to install yourself. Things like this are too exotic. You want to have a professional installer who knows what they're doing, who has good references. If you're going to consider anything like the glass beads or any of the other things in this book, they're just, you don't want to botch it up. This particular book is put up by Brewster. It's sort of a retro thing. It's sort of a mix between contemporary, 50s Oriental look, vintage. has flocked wall coverings in it that some people might remember from the 60s. That was something that came and went, but now it's back again. We also have things that are more nostalgic, like old postcards worked into a wall covering pattern. They're supposed to look like stamps, postcards, personal notes. Generally, the ones you sell, people have actually been putting in like clothes closets, dressing rooms. There are things that are very visual. I mean, you could sit here and stare at the wallpaper and try to figure out what's in it for hours if you wanted to. And then there's some things that are a little more low-key and traditional, but this has been a popular book. And then the other day, Nicole and I were talking about bold looks that are in, and this is a good example of that. It's another Tebow book. A lot of people are requesting things like this also. The colors, the real dark terracotta sort of look, the dark blues, lime greens. Here we go again with more trellis patterns. This book has a couple of them in it. And you've also got the damask style look, which is something we also get a lot of requests for. Basically, damask would be defined as a more or less symmetrical pattern that repeats in sort of a medallion motif. It's a very old classic pattern, but it's been updated. People in their 20s like it as much as people in their 60s or 70s. It's a timeless look. You can get all sorts of different variations on it. You can get very complicated, you can get very simple. So damask looks are also very big right now, and I don't think they're going to go away anytime soon.